All right, so I was saying it looks to me like it's put in a pretty nice little low here in crude. We'll hopefully make it up into the underside of this low and top of that channel. It looks like a pretty nice little move up. So we might be making that higher low right now, actually. Yeah, see, we're at the bottom of this little channel on the 2-minute. Nice. And that center median line right there, right now. Right there. It could come down to that 51.16, where both of those median lines are overlapping there. That looks like a pretty decent little low there. It's even a small volume divergence on the 2-minute. It's bullish divergence on the row 1 with a 2-bar pattern there. It looks like it's about to break slightly lower right this second, actually. If it hits this 15 or 18 or so, I might jump into this one. Yeah, I mean, it is in a heck of a downtrend, but it's also found support with a pretty massive couple of churn bars on the hourly at that low on Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of looking for another attempt at moving higher, which, if it gets going, could turn into a pretty fast short covering rally, only to find resistance again just above 52.40 to 52.80. So I'd like to catch a chunk of that if it's going to happen here. Yeah, 52.18, 52.16.
Order filled.
All right, I got one right there anyway. I'm going to try to get a second one slightly lower.
Order pending.
15. Thanks, Richard. Hey, are you in Slack, by the way? All the exports that I'm doing, you know, it takes the screenshots and puts them there in Slack automatically. All right, I just got the second one, but it's looking weak. We do have a nice churn bar here, though, on the, what is that, the row 2. I got a pretty tight little stop on it, though. It's a 2-bar pattern on the 2-minute. I got to get a new high out of this. I might go to 7. That is a pretty massive average range, so yeah, look at that. What do you know? Got the high tick yesterday, the pullback. That'd have been a nice move, huh? What was that? Yeah, only about 180 ticks. Can't win them all. We got some pretty massive updates coming here this week, and a lot of new free indicators too. Sure is a whole lot of median lines coming together right there. And I am going to keep it on that higher low there. That's a pretty fast and straight down little pop right there. I think I got a nice one here. It better be. Yeah, that's a lot of median lines, isn't it? That looks pretty good. I like that. It's a little scary buying into this incredible downtrend, but It's gone sideways to down overnight. Doesn't look like much, but yeah, it is. And then really high momentum up. So I'm expecting at least one more wave of similar magnitude to this. So something like that. So I'll look for an exit above 52.30 or something. Try to be a good boy and hold it to my target. It's at the bottom of the value area. You see that ledge in the volume? Huge amount of volume at this low. Well, I say that. I don't know that for sure. Let me see. It was the biggest relative volume, but it was that was actually in the overnight. Yeah, that upsloping lower median line is looking pretty good on the tick chart. Yeah, my target is right there. I'll look for an exit off of the first one once we take out that little high there. Oh, I got one tick from the low. Yeah, it's run into a little bit of resistance here, which is to be expected, obviously, but hopefully it'll get right through it. It's crazy. 500 ticks straight down in a week, 5 days in a row, or 3 days in a row. 500 ticks. And 400 before that. 600 here. It's a lot of movement. Yeah, and that's another decent sign here that we'll head up in one more wave. The fact that we've moved above the midline, just connecting these last two together, moved above it, and then pulled back to it once here. Got a little support in this last one here. Pretty much go right through it. And you had 1 hour of resistance there. Hit it, find a little bit of support for a few hours, and then hit it again on a really pretty exceptionally fast selling climax on the 2 minute. And then a pop right back up with just as fast momentum back up as we had down into that final low. Nearly as fast. I think it's probably, well, I mean, this is kind of the way that it goes. I was going to say it's probably safe to expect one more wave, but that's really what you would expect, right? If you've got a nice reversal up here and then you buy the first pullback, you're expecting one more move at least, but safely one more move similar to the move that preceded the retracement that you bought, which would take me above 52 there. So at least to that channel, which looks like by noon, hopefully sooner, maybe by the end of the morning session here. That's yesterday's high. So maybe just a slight break of that. Anyway, I'll be looking to take my first one off if we take out the high at 96. Okay, we do have a little bit of demand coming in right now. I'm just going to tighten my stop up to break even. I don't need to lose any money on that. Yeah, we got a little churn bar coming in there. Okay, good. All right, so they're holding it up at least for the second. Let me show you the ES here.
We had a lot of confluence areas up there, 2680, what we pointed out yesterday.
Sure, yeah. The one night I don't stay up all night.
I said it was going to be a grind to get there, and I wasn't going to park an order. Just blindly park an order in the middle of the night.
Perfect 5 waves.
You're not Superman? I thought you could stay awake all night. You don't need sleep.
Yeah.
Mr. Rowe, the man of never sleeping.
I actually did stay up late. I just wasn't at my computer when this happened. What time was it? 1:30. Yep. I had just gone to bed. Yeah, it sure was a nice group of areas, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a huge amount of volume. What would that be at 1:30 in the morning? Big boys making it happen to reverse it quickly, run everybody's stops from yesterday, build a big short position. I mean, that looks like a pretty, I mean, if that wasn't news related, that looks like some pretty obvious kind of team effort pop and reverse, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Hey.
Yeah, it looks like manipulation to me.
Yeah.
I was in front of the screen when that happened. It was pretty ridiculous. But it happened across all the markets that I was watching. So it was a combined effort, or I don't know, maybe it was some kind of little news, because the volume came in on everything at the same time.
What news might it have been? Anybody have any idea? Oh, exactly 1:30.
No, it's well before that.
Yeah.
I was the same. I was at my computer. I was actually in a ES trade when it spiked up, and I was weighing profit, and then it just reversed on me. So it was the same in ES. It just all spiked up, and then it took it all back in a heartbeat.
2:30. Yeah, 2:30 Eastern. Yeah.
Well, it could be Euro news, right? I guess we could look.
It's probably the bots out there having a field day on some Brexit news or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was, or ECB. News schmooze. That is a pretty obvious pop and reverse, though, isn't it? So now what? Let's see.
It's very hard to go short with those big pops like that, those fast pops.
Yeah, you got to be quick. I mean, even that last bar was, even that last 2-minute bar was 20 ticks. It's pretty big for a 2-minute bar on the ES in the middle of the night. And then look at that retracement right there. Nice 2-bar pattern on 2.4 times the amount of volume. 2-bar pattern followed by another churn bar. So 2 churn bars in a row there, closing off the highs. It's time for some automation.
Come on, Indy. We need new indies to play with.
It's a coming. It's a coming. It'll be worth it. Yeah, even on the 2-hour, that's showing up with a huge amount of volume there. Yeah, it doesn't get too much more obvious than that. 138.2. As per usual. Yeah, if we can just get a decent retracement, that would be the perfect spot right there. 26.76. Maybe as high as 26.81, which would be to actually fill that RTH gap to the low of that low of the gap day, the day before the gap, which is at 81.50. Yeah. 81.50. What do I want to get to? 52.38 for the first one.
Order canceled. Order pending. Order pending. Order pending. Order pending.
At least want to make it to 27. Surprised I didn't have this one in there already. That's what gave us the low here that we just barely overthrew. Well, I say barely, that's actually pretty massive average range here. It's rejecting from this top of the normal distribution of volume here. I mean, you would expect that a little bit. I don't really see that. I mean, unless it's doing a triangle, like I was saying earlier, I don't really see this as a really strong and obvious area of resistance. This is my chance to lock in some ticks, but see what happens on these next couple of bars. I gotta do it. I gotta take one off.
Order filled.
What?
Order canceled.
It would totally ruin my day if I gave all that back. And I don't need that psychologically right now. Well, we've almost broken yesterday's high. I don't really like the way that spike there looks, but maybe that's just setting up for the next volume divergence. Which if that does set up over here around 38 or so, I'll probably just close that. All three of those coming together, that's pretty magnificent. Sure was incredibly high momentum into that though on the 2 minute. Almost makes me want to jump out of crude, but yeah, I can't. Gotta hold it.
Where are you long crude from? 50.
Yeah, 15 right there.
51.15.
I want to make this channel almost double top there. We do have some demand coming back in here off of the session VWAP from 8 o'clock. Uh-oh. There's that popping crude. I'm getting out right there and being done with it.
Order filled.
Cool.
Order canceled.
All right.
Nice trade, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. Yeah, that could be it. It definitely could
Now, the
be.
question you have to answer yourself is, did you follow your plan?
I did. Can you believe it?
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Not too shabby. Safe exit. Now it really looks to be in a pretty good spot there, huh? So that's the center median line, and then this downsloping upper median line, which is a little bit nuanced, but the center median line does line up with that swing low this morning. So that is your move from center to upper, and you've got a 2-bar pattern on the 2 minute. That's a pretty
trade
clear
for the books.
fly.
It's a trade for the books.
Yeah, man. That was a pretty one. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty obvious sign of supply coming in there. What did I say, demand? pretty obvious sign of supply coming in there. Yep. Double divergence barely. It's kind of finding it, not finding it. This new divergence algorithm is really pretty exceptional. I got all the major components to what I need to automate. Can't believe we have what we have now. Pretty exceptional stuff, if I do say so myself. Minute and the tick charts aren't really lining up. I honestly expect it'll get up to 77 or so, but it may not. I mean, this is the obvious first spot on the minute charts. Thought about selling short there, but I didn't want to get, I don't know. I don't want to get into another trade. I got so much stuff I got to try and put together today. It's unimaginable. Put in lots of long days and hours over the past several weeks.
So I take it most of the indicator work's done now. It's just your workspaces and things that you're doing now, or?
Not entirely. He's working on the import manager now. Josh is working on the volume, and we're kind of restructuring the properties a little bit to make it more closely, to make NT8 more closely resemble, to make them both look as similar as possible, so that the user guide we're putting together can be, more concise and eliminate some properties and kind of clean it up a little bit, make it easier to understand, which is what I've done with Div Pro too. I mean, look at this compared to what you guys have now. You can see all the properties without having to scroll too much. Div setups, div triggers, plots and lines, drawing objects, stops and targets, swing trend. This has been just totally rebuilt. This is amazing. The swing trend part of it. And I can access how many bars are in the swing, how much time, speed or momentum essentially, like how many ticks per bar on average, what percentage of average range per bar on average in the swing. So this guy right here will be the backbone to everything else that I produce.
So I hope you're locking it down so that someone else doesn't steal all your hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the only other thing you can do is not go into too much detail of how it's actually calculating stuff and things like that. So people can't sort of copy your idea.
As far as like the guide and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could give general guidelines, but not go into too much detail of exactly how it's calculated.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing with the relative volume for the tick charts in NT8. That's one thing that took months to put together and figure out.
I quite like the volume indications on NT8, even with your old one or the current one you've got.
We just cleaned it up, made it faster, optimized it, putting together a user guide, and just trying to clean up the properties, make it look cleaner and nicer and more understandable.
Yeah, when you get those 2-bar patterns on the NT8 version, you got to watch it.
Yeah, with the relative volume on the tick-based charts, yeah,
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Well, combining the two, looking at a time base and the tick base, if you're getting it on both, it's something very important to look at.
Oh yeah, and I've spent a lot of time on the Bloodhound templates and making those as efficient as possible with as few solvers as possible, just to give you an idea of what I've put myself through. So Bloodhound was built for, well, you can read about it. I'm not going to try to explain all that, but what the different nodes allow you to do is increase the multiplier for the different logic nodes. When you don't use that, you're really not using Bloodhound to its full potential. So with something like the volume analyst, where I have, for instance, the spikes data series, I've got minor, major, and extreme spikes, and the signals kind of increase with strength of signal, right? And then for the density churn, you've got high density churn, extreme density churn, and then extreme density extreme churn. And that kind of increases strength with the values in the data series. So the weakest one will start off at 1, the strongest one will be the highest value in the data series. So we've got 3 in this one, we've got 4 in this one, and this is where it gets absurd with the number of values that I have to figure out. 3 is doable, but when I have 4, it's a nightmare to figure out the best way to structure the values for each of those signals within that data series. So the groups of these will be connected to different additive nodes and OR nodes with varying multipliers. So this enables me to reduce this many solvers here down to this many solvers and literally cut the performance requirement in half, all through the use of Bloodhound to its full potential. So this was quite a bit of effort putting all this together. So this was the next step. And I have to do this. I mean, now I have the template. I can copy this with all the functions and what's the word I'm looking for? Well, functions, I guess. And then I can just, modify these multipliers and it'll update the list. So anything above 0.8 will get a signal. And this kind of shows you, how it works. Signals from 2 charts. So I'm grouping these charts together, entry, row 1, min 1, and tick 1. That would be group 1. And then group 2 would be the 5 minute, 15, and the tick 2 for the divergence. But in NT8, the tick 2 for the relative volume as well. So this was a pretty massive undertaking that is going to make everything so much more efficient and more accurate without having to have, a solver for each individual signal within the data series. I can just have one solver for all of them and combine. It doesn't just make this list into this. It makes it's literally for each one of these, I have to add each one of these. Some of them I have to add 3 and 4 times per template. So with this, I literally just have one solver for each, and I can modify its output with the logic nodes, but just by changing the multiplier.
You're a mad scientist.
I'm telling you.
I agree. The Mad Hatter, Madman Row.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome stuff here. Probably shouldn't sell it, actually. But whatever.
Well, you could always look up your Bloodhound templates, couldn't you?
Filled.
That's true.
You don't have to give away everything. You can say, right, well, you've paid for the copy of my template while ever you belong to the group or whatever, and then they can't actually see how you've done it.
That's right.
Don't give away the whole house, mate.
It's about the same. Yeah, that's right there. So that would be 12 to 1 R multiple. Potentially making 12 times what I'm risking. That's a trade I'm willing to take and lose money on for sure. Yeah, there was me shorting the fill of that gap and just a couple of little minor areas, thinking I was missing it, thinking the high was in yesterday with that big push down out of the high, and obviously got stopped out at whatever that was, 130. So truly, this is my second attempt here, but I did all right today in crude, so it'll be okay. Something about that relative volume, you just don't get that information anywhere else.